How stupid is every team for not trying to trade for Lamar Jackson? All right, we're joined today by Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely. This is your second year in this offense, but it's a totally different offense. We've talked about it a lot on this podcast, on NFL Live, different coordinator, scheme changes. What would you say year one with the previous offense to now with Todd Monken is the biggest change for you specifically?
The difference would be to let my talent show. I mean, I feel like a lot last year, it was more of a whatever the plays called, run it. I mean, this year, Coach Monken had to let Lamar be able to call his own offense. I mean, from changing play calls to changing protections to really just try to have us all skill positions, in the best matchups possible to be able to help the offense, go to new heights. I mean, you'll see Lamar play a lot more like freely in the offense and be able to check here, check there. Oh, he doesn't like that look there, send it another way. And I feel like that's done tremendous for our offense to be able to score more points.
I assume you watched Georgia, you're familiar with, Todd Monken, and was it exciting for you when they hired him, knowing the work he did with tight ends in college?
For sure. I mean, that was definitely a big thing during the offseason. Everybody kept saying that, he's already used to that 12 personnel at Georgia, 13 personnel. So bringing that to the league, I mean, it was definitely going, try to keep the tight ends involved. But, we have other great, receivers, running backs. So having us all try to touch the ball is definitely going to be hard for the defense.
Why do you think tight end is such a hard position for rookies to play? I ask you that, and actually we have a couple of rookies who are making quite a splash, Porta and Detroit. But historically it has been a position that takes a little bit longer than other ones, I think, for players to come into the league and master. Why do you think that is?
Really, I feel like because in college, usually the tight end is just a bigger receiver. I mean, and sometimes in the NFL you get, some of the names that be able to do a little bit of the stuff you get to do in college, but there's also always going to be a time where you have to block those DNs. You have to, chip block or have help with the tackle on a Myles Garrett or TJ Watt, where you don't really get to see those people in college.
And then everybody gets mad when you're left one-on-one with one of those. Have you had to block either of those guys?
So my first year ever blocking Myles Garrett was, one of our tackles had went the wrong way, so I was only supposed to have a chip block, but I ended up having to actually have 2 to 3 seconds by myself with Myles, and
it didn't go well. I've seen him without his shirt off, not in photos. Okay, changing the topic. I want to ask you about one play in particular. In the Jags game, near the end of the third quarter, 2nd and 6, I think one of my favorite Lamar plays of the season. He's under pressure. He's scrambling. It seems like the play is dead. You're mailboxing down the field, but then you somehow get open and you make this incredible contested catch. Playing with Lamar means the play is never dead. So I was wondering if you could kind of walk me through mentally that play, because it probably lasted 7-8 seconds, which, as you know, in football is like a lifetime. What was that like on your end in that play? Spare no detail.
Yeah. So really, when the play was snapped, I mean, I seen cover 2 to my side. So really, they were playing cover 6. So I had cover 2 on my side, and they had cover 4 on the other side. And I'm still throwing my hand up because I'm like, man, I'm open. Our golden rule is if you throw your hand up with Lamar Jackson, you better come down with the ball because he's gonna remember you throwing your hand up and you're not coming down with it. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got a high point it.
Does the extension of the plays that he's capable of have an effect on you mentally? Is it almost like you have to run a second route, or does it require a different level of awareness from, playing with a quarterback who isn't capable of doing those things?
Really, I feel like, what we preach on offensive rooms, the play is never over till the ref blows his whistle. So that first time that the defense feels like they called a good play call, the second time, now they have to adjust to kids playing backyard football. I mean, that just brings you to your, little kid days where you're running imaginary routes at recess, back at school, just running around and trying to get open, trying to force a flag or trying to make a big play. And I feel like, our offense does an amazing job of just, when the first play is dead, you don't hear that whistle. That means Lamar's looking down the field, looking for you. So get open as fast as possible.
What is the craziest thing you've ever seen him do, in practice?
I didn't see. So there was a time where, because usually we'll have like if a defensive lineman is close to Lamar, we'll blow the whistle and tell him it's a sack, and the defense will cheer. But Lamar knows, like Lamar, like sometimes like to test the theory, like okay, I want you guys to really try to tag off, like actually try to tag me. So like there was one time at OTAs where I seen like Lamar scramble left, right, and then throw with his opposite hand with the left hand about like 10 yards. I forget who he hit. He hit somebody over the middle. And everybody just looked at him like, wow, like you really just did that. And in my mind, I was just like, wow, I'm just out here with Lamar Jackson just at a regular old day, just throwing. Like, it was definitely dope.
You scored twice last game. One of the scores was off Leak. Why is Leak the best play in football?
Because you get lost. Most of the time, and when you're on the goal line, when you're about 10 and in, they play man coverage. So usually if you run a bunch of meshes, everybody gets lost. Everybody tries to pass off because everybody starts getting lazy. They don't want to get hit. After you chip block, somebody will usually get lost trying to make a big play, and then they'll be like, oh, where'd my guy go? And then they'll try to pass it off, act like they passed it off when no one, they should have ran with you.
They ran it with Rickard, though. That it's like, oh my God, like
he
even
showed me up. He showed me up with the one hand.
How important is he to your offense? Because he's kind of like a tight end out there. We call it's funny when you organize the plays, it shows up as 21, 22, but it's really not. Can you explain his significance, especially in this iteration of the Ravens offense?
I feel like Pat's like our Swiss Army knife. This offseason, he tried out for guard.
I remember that,
Yeah, so he was taking reps at guard. So we didn't see him really in the tight end room a lot. But we knew like he was going to understand the offense. He was going to understand what he had to do as a tight end, fullback. So he was going to be good. So he was just training on that aspect. So when he got back in, I mean, we see him as that sixth offensive lineman, and still, like, we put him to block anybody. We'll put him to block Myles Garrett. We put him to block Chubb last game. We put him to block TJ. We asked him to do so much. And then still in the run game, we asked him to do everything. And then in the pass game, I mean, I think his longest career catch, I don't know if it was 28 or 38 when he had against the Lions early in this year.
Yeah.
He hit like a max speed of like 17 miles per hour. And Chad hit a spin move at the end. We were like, whoa, big Project Pat out here going crazy.
He's beating the Drewski allegation. I don't know if you saw.
I did last year. That one was on me too. He'll never let me forget it because I had moved him inside to run the stick instead of having me run the stick route. And it was all messed up. And he'll never let me live it down. But I told him that was my one rookie moment. You gotta let me have it.
You have the benefit of playing not just with an elite quarterback, but also an elite defense, arguably the best defense in the NFL. Of all of the guys on that unit, we spent a lot of time talking about them and how fun they are on the show. Who would you least like to be manned up by?
Manned up by? Now, I like being in man coverage. I'm not gonna lie. I like wearing man coverage, but I definitely say I've been going against Kyle since rookie OTAs, so
yeah,
he's probably the least I'd like to be manned up with. I mean, he's just so versatile. He could be in a slot against a slot. He can go up against a receiver. He can go up against a tight end. Go up against, as you've seen, we put him against CMC. I mean, he's just that Swiss Army knife that you love to just plug and play and tell him, man, I don't want him to do anything that day. And Kyle steps up to the task every time.
Let's just wrap by talking about how dominant your team is. You're right now Super Bowl favorites, leading the NFL in just about every metric. What makes this Ravens team special? Like, what makes this team unique? When you look across the NFL, I mean, you're just coming off of beating two teams, one of whom most people thought was the best team in the NFL before you beat them. You were underdogs going into that game. And then a Miami team with an offense that has been destroying guys all year long and a very good defense as well. What is unique about this Baltimore Ravens team?
I mean, just having a Lamar Jackson for the offense and a Roquan Smith for the defense be your leaders to guide you every step of the way. There's nobody in the league that could tell me that they got two leaders better than that right there.
How stupid is every team for not trying to trade for Lamar Jackson?
I mean, they got to deal with him now. All other 31 teams got to deal with him, and they got to remind their defenses how good it is out there trying to chase him and bring him to the ground.
I love it. Isaiah, thank you so much for joining us. This was fun. Good luck.
Thank you.